Over the death of 34-year-old Venkat. Questions remain over accountability. Hospital passes responsibility. Claims rejected by the victim's wife. Health Minister assures strict action into the matter. In the meanwhile, Parliament to discuss pollution crisis as toxic air engulfs the entire northern belt. Tough pollution curbs come into effect, including no pollution under control certificate, no fuel. Fourth T20 international between India and South Africa gets delayed due to poor visibility. Indian players seen wearing masks. Radicals run amok in Bangladesh's ties between New Delhi and Dhaka spiral. India demarches Dhaka envoy, shuts down visa centre. Actor turned politician Vijay to hold a public meeting of the TVK in Erode. The meeting will be the first in Tamil Nadu after the Karur tragedy. Police have imposed strict restrictions limiting the event to a 2-hour window. Messi rounded out his visit to India with a trip to Anand Ambani's Vantara. Also took part in traditional Hindu rituals and spent time with wildlife there. And first up, a 34-year-old mechanic from Bengaluru died after he and his wife were forced to shuttle between hospitals on a bike in search of urgent medical care, allegedly facing indifference from both hospitals and passerbys along the way. The man, identified as Venkat Raman, lay on the road writhing in pain for several minutes as his wife pleaded for help with folded hands. Cars continued to pass by without stopping. Help eventually came from a cab driver who finally stopped to assist, but by then it was too late. By the time they reached the hospital, the 34-year-old was declared dead, leaving behind a 5-year-old son and an 18-month-old daughter. Let's first up listen in to the wife's ordeal.
Ma'am, on the night, what exactly happened? How did it begin? What is the sequence of events? Please tell us.
From morning 3:30, this incident has happened. He was paining more. It was paining more. So what he done? He vomited. After vomited, he went. I told to him I'll call a sister, but he didn't wait. He took his scooty and he went out. I'll go to hospital. If you come, you'll come or no? I don't want. I'll go to hospital. After that, I went to hospital. I went with Goa Hospital, but the duty doctor was not there. After that, hospital of security, he told that go to Real Life Hospital. We went to Real Life Hospital. They took ECG and all. After taking ECG, my husband asked him, you give any treatment for this or you give any tablet? But they didn't give. They asked also whether you came, how did you came? They asked. He said we came from two-wheeler, but they didn't give any ambulance facilities also. After that, they told to go to Jayadeva Hospital. We went to Jayadeva Hospital. In Kadrinalli Circle, he got an accident.
He was driving.
Yeah, he was driving. When he was driving, got accident. After that, I'm begging all of them, but no one helped me. After that, lastly, after 5 to 10 minutes, his sister came. After that, she gave CRP and all. After CRP, he didn't wake up. After lastly, one cab driver came and stopped. After that, he took and went for Dayananda Sagar Hospital. In that Dayananda Sagar Hospital, so they took ECG in car only. They didn't took and went inside of the hospital also.
I want to go across to Afreen Hussain, who joins us with more details. Afreen, tell us what led to 34-year-old Venkat losing his life. Of course, it's a moment of shame for Bengalurians across. For everyone who crossed the couple, did not stop to help them. Take us essentially through the timeline and what hospital authorities have shared in the latest.
It's a very tragic chain of events that has occurred and that has led to the death of 34-year-old Venkat Raman. It all began on the early hours of December 13th at around 3:30 a.m. when Venkat Raman complained of chest pain and he began vomiting at his home. His wife immediately rushed him to the first private hospital, where the hospital told the couple that no duty doctors were available at that hour. Now, without wasting any time, they moved to another private hospital nearby, and this is the hospital where an ECG was conducted, and as per the diagnosis, he suffered a mild heart attack. And despite knowing this, the family claims that the hospital did not provide any initial treatment to Venkatraman. They also did not help the couple with any ambulance services. However, the hospital has denied these allegations. Now they've told CNN News 18 that the couple did not wait for an ambulance or did not ask for it in the first place. And they also said that, they have given a loading dose. Initial treatment was given to Venkatraman, and the couple rushed out of the hospital in a hurry to go to Jayadeva as advised by this particular private hospital. Now on the way to Jayadeva Hospital on the bike, we saw in the visuals, in the CCTV footage, that Venkatraman has suffered another chest pain, severe chest pain, and he's fallen off the bike, collapsed on the road. We saw his wife desperately pleading for help. Vehicles keep moving by, you can see, but nobody has stopped. And a few minutes later, after all the desperate pleading and calls for help, a cab driver stops, but by then it's too late. Venkatraman has already died on the road, and he was taken to another hospital where he was declared dead. Now this really raises serious questions about the kind of medical emergency response and care that should be given to somebody who is coming in with a heart attack or a stroke, an emergency case like that, and also talks about how inhumane we've become as a society, that so many vehicles have passed by, a tempo has passed, a two-wheeler, cars have passed by, but nobody bothered to stop. This woman on the road was pleading for help. She was injured, and
not just that,
a
Afreen,
man
this is a
lying
story
on
that
the
has
road,
repeated
nobody-
itself in different parts of the country, and nothing seems to change really. Shocking to say the least. Thank you for joining us with those details. Former Health Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar also spoke to CNN News 18's Rohini on this entire unfortunate incident. He's also slammed the state government for being oblivious to people's suffering. Listen in.
If the hospitals had been told that patients should not be turned back, we would not have lost a life today.
Absolutely, Rohiniji. See, in an emergency, time is life. When a patient walks into an hospital in distress, treatment cannot wait for any paperwork, approvals, or formalities. Delaying emergency is not just medical negligence, in my opinion. It is a moral failure. And if a patient like this collapses because treatment was denied or delayed, accountability has to be and must be fixed, in my opinion. See, healthcare is not a favor, yeah. It is a fundamental duty of the medical health system. So I think it is a constitutional and rights. It is not optional. It is a basic right of a human being to save his life.
But isn't
We
it
are
also a
living in a
stringent?
civilized society, and if somebody is not, given a proper treatment in time, and that person succumbing because that treatment was denied for him, is really crime, in my opinion. Such facilities or such doctors or such medical staff who have denied the treatment has to be punished, has to be accountable, is what my opinion.
But Dr. Sudhakar, don't you think the onus is also on the government to have more stringent measures and laws, also asking hospitals not to do so?
See, we have laws in place. When I was a health minister, I had made this law. Ultimately, laws has to be enforced, and every citizen, every responsible individuals should be morally binding. See, after all, what is health system today? Everybody, right from doctor to nurse, we all take oaths.
Right.
If we are, irresponsible, then where the society is going?
And shifting our focus to the latest bit of exclusive that CNN brings to you. CNN News 18 exclusive input by Manoj Gupta. We're learning Indian agencies are set to join the Sydney investigation into the shooting incident after sources revealed that the accused visited India 3 to 4 years ago to meet his mother. Joint team of state police and central intelligence agencies are likely to be sent to Australia to assist local authorities. The probe will focus on the shooter's ideological leanings, possible online or extremist radicalization, and any links to global Islamist networks. Investigators are also examining whether the attack was driven by organized anti-Jewish hatred or lone wolf radicalization influenced by international propaganda. Indian agencies are also checking digital footprints, financial trails, also travel details, and any possible contacts, sympathizers, or sleeper networks in India. So now the probe somehow linking the investigations to India, with the news now coming in. This is a CNN News 18 exclusive. We're telling you how agencies are now going to take the investigations to India because the accused travelled to India 3 to 4 years ago to meet his mother. I do want to go across to Siddhant Mishra, who joins us with more details. Siddhant, so far, what do we know in terms of how investigators are looking at the accused's links to India? Tell us all the way back to 3 to 4 years. What was it that investigators have been able to unearth about his visit to India and his mother? Is she still in the country?
Well, that's right, Kritsween. In fact, the other day, Foreign Minister of Australia, Penny Wong, spoke to EMS Jaishankar. In fact, at that point also, EMS Jaishankar extended full support to Australia. And now we're getting to know, and in fact, this input has been brought to us by Manoj Gupta, that Indian teams are likely to be in Australia. The personnel from the state police and central intelligence agencies are going to be in Australia. The core objective is to examine the shooter's ideological leanings. In fact, investigators check if attack was driven by organized anti-Jewish hatred. Lone wolf radicalization cannot be ruled out by investigators at this point in time. In fact, agencies seek clarity on any formal or informal links with the terror outfit. So one team of the investigators are going to go to Australia to contribute to the ongoing investigation, and this team will include personnel from the state police force, the central agencies. This is what Manoj is bringing for us. So as far as India's position on terrorism is concerned, it is that India condemns terrorism in all forms and manifestations. In fact, with several countries, India has a joint working group on counter-terrorism, where India shares, where two countries share perspectives. And since Australia is a very important strategic partner of India, and since this incident has taken place, perhaps India will definitely be looking at the investigation, and also is happy to contribute to the investigation to assist the Australians in this investigation.
A background check will thoroughly be carried out, Siddhant, but do we know more about whether or not we're looking at one of the accused being an Indian citizen formally, post which he migrated to Australia? What more details so far are out there?
Well, yes, that's right. In fact, the authorities the other day, Kritsween, came up with a proper release, perhaps talking about the background of one of the attackers, Naveed Akram, the father attacker, and he belongs to India, but he was not in touch with his family from a long time. In fact, some reports are saying that he visited India in early 2000 to see his mother. Perhaps that was his last visit. I think the focus right now, Kritsween, should more be on where these two attackers got radicalized.
Yeah.
Where was that training camp? Whether that was in Philippines, whether that was somewhere in Australia, perhaps that needs to be the core of this investigation. Because how did they reach to these groups, these channels through social media, etc., where these camps are functioning? Who has provided them these sophisticated weapons, explosives? Perhaps that is going to be the focus area of the investigators at this point in time, because many reports say that these two attackers traveled to Philippines to be trained for this terror attack, then in that case, it is definitely a matter of concern if these ISIS camps are openly, functioning, working
So
in
the
South
channel
Asia.
of radicalization becomes extremely important to zero in on ideological leanings, whether or not this was online radicalization, any links to other Islamist networks, so on and so forth. All those questions are still out there. Answers awaited. Thank you, Siddhant, for joining us with all those details. It's a developing story. Investigations currently at its peak. For now, we shift our focus to more breaking news coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit poll-bound Assam on the 20th of December, where he will interact with party MPs and MLAs at the BJP headquarters in Guwahati, and this is likely to take place for about 25 minutes. This will mark his first visit to the newly constructed party office and is seen as a crucial outreach ahead of next year's elections as well. During the visit, the Prime Minister will also inaugurate the new airport terminal in Guwahati. Payal Mehta joins us with all these details. Payal, tell us what is scheduled for the Prime Minister on the 20th in Assam. We've broken down some details. Any other highlights to the visit?
Well, of course, he's going to be inaugurating projects worth more than 20,000 crores in this visit, is what we're given to understand, Kritsween, including a big and flashy Terminal 2 of the Guwahati airport. Development projects as far as the long-awaited demand for the fertilizer factory is going to be also inaugurated by the Prime Minister on the 21st. But the most important and the most crucial factor is that Assam goes into elections next year, so that is something which is very, very keenly watched out for. Hemanta Biswa Sharma is leading the state right now, and the BJP will be seeking its third term in office. Having said that, it's a very, very important visit given the fact that the Prime Minister himself met all the BJP MPs of Assam, during this ongoing winter session of Parliament. But his meeting with the MLAs will be of great significance because the state goes into polls. What the BJP has been able to do for the Northeast, because Assam is the gateway of the Northeast, also stands as a test of that commitment of the BJP to the Northeast region. That is something which the Prime Minister is expected to speak with them. I'm going to understand that 25 minutes time of interaction has been allocated, in which ministers, organizational personals, MPs and MLAs will be interacting with the Prime Minister.
Okay. Many thanks, Payal, for joining us with those details. We shift our focus now to more breaking news that's just come in. Once again, the Nehru Papers controversy back in the spotlight. It's resurfaced as Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has stated that 51 cartons of Jawaharlal Nehru's documents, formerly taken by Sonia Gandhi in 2008 from the Prime Minister's museum and library, are still with Ms. Gandhi, despite multiple reminders from PMML, including recent ones in January and July 2025. They have gone unanswered, he says. He also stressed that these historical documents belong in public archives for scholars, researchers and citizens, and called for transparency, questioning why the papers are still withheld despite repeated requests. Now, why is it that we're looking this conversation once again back in the mainstream? Gajendra Shekhawat was replying to Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh's post. Jairam Ramesh took to social media. He said the truth placed before Lok Sabha is clear and on record. The Nehru Papers were taken out in 2008 during the UPA period, when public institutions were often treated as family preserves. So that is the comment that's coming in now from Mr. Shekhawat, the Union Minister. In fact, he has also once again made an appeal to Sonia Gandhi to honour her commitment and return these papers to PMML so scholars, citizens and Parliament can access these crucial historical records. He also spoke of how the truth of Nehruvian times can be then examined objectively. This was his rebuttal to Jairam Ramesh of the Congress. That's how this conversation has resurfaced now. But do remember, the Ministry of Culture also cited a 29 April 2008 letter wherein it was requested that Sonia Gandhi wished to take back all of the private family letters and notes of the former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. And accordingly, the papers were sent to Gandhi. That's one thing that's been cited every now and then by several leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And they've been citing this one development in seeking these documents back from Sonia Gandhi. They say they're still with the Congress leader and must be sent back. They are crucial for research studies going forward. In fact, he's given a number. He says in reality, 51 cartons of Jawaharlal Nehru papers were formally taken back by the Gandhi family in 2008. I do want to go across to CNN News 18's Pallavi Ghosh, who joins us with more details. Pallavi, you established the fact that this is the response coming in from Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat to the post on social media by Jairam Ramesh, but how is he taking this forward? Because in the past as well, we've seen multiple times this appeal being made by several in the Bharatiya Janata Party.
See, Christine, there have been reminders which have gone in from the Nehru Memorial as well, and we are told that it went out another one, which is the fifth one last week. They are saying that these are a part of the documented history. They are not the personal collection, and therefore those letters must be returned by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and her family back to the Nehru Memorial Library, and they are the real custodians. And yesterday, the Culture Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat made this point once again. The Congress's defense is that these are the personal correspondence between Jawaharlal Nehru and his family, and therefore this doesn't have to be a part of the documentation of the history. So you are going to see this war of words which are taking place between the two of them. Clearly, both the Jawaharlal Nehru Library staff and the board members, of which the Prime Minister heads it, plus the other leaders of the BJP are clearly making this point that why is it that this personal correspondence was taken away by Mrs. Gandhi? What is the reluctance on the part of the Congress to return this back to them?
And the set of arguments which is being put forth by now, let's say, Minister Gajendra Shekhawat is no different than what we've heard in the past as well. Is there a formal process or procedure that can be expected to take place next year? You've spoken of a fifth such move that has been made already. What next could happen, Pallavi?
See, you know, the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya has documented the legacy and history of India of all the prime ministers from Jawaharlal Nehru to the present prime minister. And any of us who have visited the museum have seen that, you know, their papers, their public correspondence, the gifts they receive, the diplomatic engagements, all of them are a part of history, so that the younger generation who do not have any sense of this history, they get educated. That was the entire purpose behind it. Well, the PML keeps on meeting regularly. The Prime Minister heads it. And I remember in the last meeting, this issue was raised by one of the members, that despite the fact that we keep on sending letters to the Gandhi family, none of them even bother to respond to it. We heard what the Culture Minister had to say, that cartons have been picked up by the Congress family. And despite the fact that we send them repeated responses and correspondence, they are not responding. Well, the response which comes in from the Congress party on behalf of the Gandhis is that these are personal communication. They have personal details and they cannot be made public.
Thank you so much, Pallavi, for joining us with all those details. Let's see whether or not the Congress comes out with its own response to the latest question being raised by Union Minister Gajendra Shekhawat. Heading into a very short break with that, we'll be right back with lots more in just a bit.
Many things have changed in the last 20 years, but our partnership with you only got stronger.
Political parties.
RTI enabled India's right to know.
System needs to become more transparent.
We saw terrorism's deadliest face.
This is a terror attack on Mumbai.
Visuals that will haunt Mumbai.
A crisis that plunged the nation in panic.
We are faced with a global slowdown.
A crime that shook 1.4 billion people.
Last bus rides for the girl who would come to be known as Nirbhaya.
We saw India becoming cricket champs after 28 years. The nation chose a strong new leader.